Hi, welcome back to Becoming Holistically Whole. My name is Christine, and today I thought that we would talk a little bit about. There'll be two different videos coming out actually. One is how to deal with difficult or toxic family members during the holidays, and then one is on healthy eating for the holidays. So, this one is going to be discussing how to deal with toxic family members or difficult people during the holidays. You may see me look down from time to time. I just want to make sure that I cover everything that I would like to cover with you all today. So, the holidays can be a challenge. Um, Sometimes people think of the holidays and they conjure up visions of, warmth and love and present exchanging and comfort foods and um, happy family members and traditions and all of these things. And I'm not saying that the holidays are not that, but that's not all the holidays are. That's not all the holidays hold. For some individuals, the holidays can be a challenging time, especially when you're interacting with individuals that maybe you haven't interacted with all year. Sometimes family members only get together at holidays. It could be with uh, people that you only see, like I said, during the holiday season because they're from out of town. So it's not they're not individuals that you normally have daily one-on-one contact with. So, what is a toxic person or relative? What do they look like? Well, somebody that puts you down, somebody that doesn't allow you to be you or have your own feelings or emotions. They might bully you. It could be somebody who makes cruel comments. They might see you and say, "Oh, haven't you gained a lot of weight since the last time I've seen you?" Or "Don't you look older?" Or whatever the case may be. It could be someone who tries to step over your boundaries, that they don't accept your boundaries. It can be someone who, the person that drama seems to follow. So, so toxic family members, they can make you feel guilt or shame, besides making you feel uncomfortable, obviously. They can make you feel like it's your responsibility to make them happy. You want to avoid being around them. Like the holidays come and they come with dread. Oh no, I have to see so and so. If you fill in the blank. So, toxic family can also look like emotional invalidation. So, somebody again who not only doesn't care for your boundaries, but they don't allow you or appear to allow you to have your own emotions or feelings. They invalidate them. Gaslighting, telling you things that aren't as if they were, making you kind of feel like you're crazy. Um, like I said, bullying, neglect, uh, narcissistic tendencies, passive aggressive behavior, rejection or lack of acceptance of you for who you are. That you have to be somebody else other than who you are. Emotional, psychological, or physical abuse. Sometimes we feel like we have to go back around the individuals who may have caused us some harm in that way because they're family or they're a toxic family member. But that's not the case. You don't have to do that. You have the right to say no. So, what happens when you have toxic family? Well, you may be brought up feeling like you were the problem, like everything that happens is always your fault, like you've constantly done something wrong. You're always on edge. You might question your own reality, especially if people are gaslighting you, may start to have you question, like, is this real? Am I thinking in the wrong way? Is this not okay? Am I expecting more of someone than I should be? You may feel shame or guilt or self-blame. You may have difficulty trusting other people or even trusting yourself. Fear of abandonment, being on guard, bracing yourself constantly for the next bad thing that's going to happen, or even just fear of setting your own boundaries. So make sure that you are setting those boundaries. I just did the last video on setting boundaries. So if you need to go look at that, go take a look at that and, identify how you can set those boundaries for yourself during the holiday season. So along with the difficult family members, let's talk about the simplest way to deal with them. So the simplest way to deal with someone who's difficult or is a toxic family member during the holidays is just accept that you can't change them. You're not here to change them. That's not your job. Limit your exposure to them. It's okay to say no or decline an invitation. Have a contingency plan. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and I'm out. Or if this happens, I'm out. Have a contingency plan when they get toxic. Again, set those firm boundaries. So what are some things you can do when you know that you're going to be interacting with someone who is a potential toxic family member? Well, set realistic expectations. Don't go into this holiday season expecting more from that individual family member than you have in the past, or that you would throughout the year just because it's the holiday. And don't expect more from yourself either just because it's the holiday season. Know your limits. Think about in advance what you can tolerate in order to keep the peace in the family. And then what do you want to avoid this year? What topics are you willing to discuss and what's off the table? What people do you want to see or who do you want to see? Again, have an exit plan. Okay, I'm going to go to Uncle Bob's house and I'm going to limit myself to 2 hours. If things become toxic or I start feeling uncomfortable, I'm going to do X. And know that it's okay to make that choice for yourself because that's a healthy choice for you. Again, you're not responsible for anyone else's happiness or their feelings. Give yourself permission to decline invitations. I know sometimes during the holiday season or any time we feel like we have to say yes to things. It's okay to say no, I can't make it this year, or I can't come to your home from 1 to 5. I can do 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 or whatever that looks like for you. Be able to ask for what you need in order for you to be able to feel safe throughout the holiday season. Control how you react. You cannot control what other people do or what they say, but you can control you and you can control how you respond to their behavior. So try to rehearse a few responses that you may have to questions that may be a little bit more challenging or intrusive. If you know that when you get around Uncle Bob or, he may ask some questions you're not comfortable answering. How are you going to decline answering those questions? What are you going to do in that situation? Prepare yourself so that that doesn't bring as much anxiety because you have a plan in place for yourself. Refocus the attention. So if family's together and you know that a hot button topic may be politics, refocus the attention when Uncle Bob starts talking about, some type of political thing or something that makes you feel uncomfortable. Just say, oh, look at the beautiful decor, and isn't this the meal that Aunt Sally prepared? Isn't it wonderful? And did you get to taste this? Distract, refocus the attention. Let go of trying to make people happy. Again, it's not your job to make other people happy. Remain an adult. Sometimes when we get back together with our family members, if we've grown up in a toxic family, we may have a tendency to revert back to childhood behaviors and family roles. Try to remember going in that you are an adult and you no longer play those roles in your family. Limit your alcohol or substance use because using these things lowers your inhibitions and also leads you to a place of not feeling confident or being able to implement your plan. So, limit that for yourself. Have a way to deal with stress for the holidays. Have a self-care plan in place. Um, know that if somebody else is stressed, unless you caused it physically for some reason, it's not your responsibility. You didn't cause that stress. It's not your job to eliminate the stress or uncomfort for them. Increase self care. It's easier to be overwhelmed by difficult family members if you are already depleted of energy, or like your mental health is depleted, your bandwidth's depleted. So think about making sure that you ramp up your self care plan. Make sure you're exercising. Go for a walk out in nature. Do some yoga. Read a book. Meditate. Whatever you need to do. Create a new holiday tradition for yourself and your family. And with family, that might just be you and your fur baby or whatever your family looks like. It is okay for you to create a new family tradition. You don't have to stick to the old family traditions. So with that in mind, again, the holiday season can be challenging, especially if we need to get around, expected to be around toxic family members. Think about the things that we talked about today. Put a plan in place for yourself. Know what that plan is so that you can follow it. Know what your self-care routine is going to be. And remember, the only person you're responsible for is you. Okay? So let's look at some journal prompts that might help us dig a little bit deeper into this. Okay? So journal prompt number 1, I want you to ask yourself, where might I need help in dealing with difficult family members this season? Identify that for yourself. Number 2, how can I prepare myself to see these family members? Maybe it's just knowing that you have that contingency plan in place. Maybe it's, if you have a lot of anxiety, maybe it's engaging in some of those self-care routines before you see the family members. Reminding yourself that you're safe and it's okay and you can say no. Number 3, what are some coping skills I can use? Maybe practice deep breathing techniques before you go, or some mindfulness or grounding techniques. So number 4, what is my plan of action? Make sure you know your plan of action before you leave your door to go see your family members. Write it down if you have to. Slide it in your purse, your wallet, your pocket, whatever you need to do. Number 5, who are my identified support team members? So who can I call? Who knows that I may need some help during this time? Who can I find encouragement from? Who's going to be my cheerleader to let me know it's okay, the decisions I'm making for me to make myself healthy? And number 6, of course, how am I showing up for myself today? So I hope you all have a beautiful holiday season. I hope that you can make some healthy changes for yourself during the holiday season. And I hope that you give yourself permission to know that it's okay to put boundaries in place and to say no. If you're struggling, if you need help, and you feel comfortable, put some information down in the comments. Let's interact with each other. But again, remember, this is a safe place for you to do so. Be mindful.